Yo, what up, what up? It's Simo, feeling good to be back with a new one for you. Definitely happy to be done with this one, considering I started it over 6 months ago, but didn't know how to finish it until recently. As you can see, it's made mainly from two of my favorite things to create with, holographic vinyl and colored hot glue gun sticks. I just can't get enough of those awesome color changes from different angles and lighting. And you probably can't tell at first, but I made it so it's basically like three intersecting cubes getting smaller towards the center. To start it off, I used poster board and a piece of old pipe cleaner craft wire on a tack to make a perfect circle, which I then used a razor blade to cut out with. Since the poster board wasn't big enough, I cut extra pieces to glue onto the outside for the pedals, which I double layered for added durability. Once I glued all 12 pedals on, I measured and cut out my vinyl, then glued them in place. It wasn't easy figuring out the right size to make the arrow-like pieces for the pedals, but I eventually figured it out and began tediously gluing them all in place after carefully cutting them out. Now it was time to start outlining everything with more hot glue, which if you've done something like this yourself or have seen some of my previous projects with it, you know this took every ounce of patience and focus I had, but I knew it would look great once I finally finished. Probably 12 hours later or so, I was done gluing and I was trying to figure out what to do to complete the project, and it just goes to show that they all certainly don't turn out as expected. I tried to add some swirling paint over the black parts, but ended up just not liking it at all and thought it looked way better with the black before, but it was still just too boring. So this was where I got stuck and just let it sit for months, hoping I would find some inspiration down the road, and luckily I was right. I realized it would look nice with some chunky black sand to give it some nice texture, so I applied Elmer's glue all over the painted sections and sprinkled the sand and compressed it down to dry. After doing all 12 sections, I tried to save the excess sand and then used a vacuum to clean up the rest. Next I used Mod Podge on the ends just for the sake of experimenting and giving it a tiny bit of added detail. Then used more regular glue for the rest to seal in the remaining sand. Once it all dried, I cleaned up the entire project with rubbing alcohol to get rid of any impurities and prepare the next step, which I decided to be creative and make my own spikes of glue to add to the pedals. It wasn't easy figuring out how to do this at first, and especially to do them without moving very slowly, and my bro Gary and I had to squeeze out the right amount and constantly cool it down by blowing air on it as we stretched it out under the point. You can see this clip in real time just how long it took for one, and I still had to speed it up halfway through. After troubleshooting a bit, I realized I could have fans on high surrounding us, and I also used a metal rack to extend the glue to cool on, which definitely sped up the process, though it was still very time consuming overall. After they were all done, I just clipped the ends off to the right size and began gluing them all in place one by one. And of course, like pretty much every step I do, all these pieces can take quite a while to complete. Several hours later, it was starting to come together, but I still felt like something was missing, and so I came up with some added small craft mirrors over the black sand, which I had to use some poster tack to place under each one so I could level them out. And I also surrounded the tack with super glue to keep them in place. And gradually I got there, then spent quite a while cleaning it all up and making it shine, which getting in all those little crevices was no easy task. I left out the part of cutting and sanding down the wooden backing I added, but it was definitely needed to hide the gluing lines and also to have a durable place to hang it on. And voila, there you go. Another one down, and I love it. And you know you want this beauty on your wall, don't lie, come on, who you kidding? But you know, really hope you like it as much as I do, and be sure to check out my other videos if you haven't yet. There's lots more where that came from. And please help spread this around if you want to show some support. I could really use it and appreciate it. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Simo out. Haha! Yes!